Hey, School Bus here. Malinovka. One of the maps that is a light tank's dream. And today, we will set out on it with the T-54 Lightweight, which those of you who follow the channel and have heard my comments and live streams, etc., it hasn't been a tank that I have loved. And now I'm fully upgraded, and I do like it better, but I really prefer the playstyle of the French auto-loading lights that rush in, do a bunch of damage, and get out of there. You can't do that with this thing, but it has its strengths. It's got good view range, it's got good speed, it's got something that resembles armor, so especially the turret can do a pretty good job of protecting you in the right situation. You'll see here in a moment I kind of pushed that a little bit too hard, and it can't quite, or the armor can't quite put up with the punishment coming from the hill. However, we're here today, obviously, because, well, this ends up being a really good game. And I think there's three main points that, or requirements to make something a good game. You, one, need to utilize the strengths of the vehicle you're in and generally play that well. You need to assess the situation of the map, what's going on, and figure out, do you need to be helping your team extend further into battle, or do you just need to hold the line or even do some sort of a tactical retreat or regrouping? And then thirdly, a little bit of luck. And no matter what level of player you are, it always requires a little bit of luck for ace tankers and those really, really epic Unicum sort of looking games. Excuse me. So, depending on how good of a player you are, then kind of depends on how much luck you really need. I need a pretty healthy dose of it to have a good game. And luck in this game came in a way that you might not necessarily think of. Look at the situation right now. We have a nice line up on the hill. Looks like maybe we are overmatched on the hill. They may have more tanks there than us. But we have a pretty good setup. And there really wasn't anything that I could do over there. You saw me trying to play out in the field. There really wasn't much to do. Yes, I had guns behind me, but I wasn't able to light the enemy while keeping myself safe. And there's another light tank that's in the bowl there at, what is that, A, B, C, D, call it D6. That's a great position. I was redundant, so I came over to the other flank. And now I'm sitting here waiting, ideally for the T-95 to take the lead, and I tell him that. That's another thing that helps good games, communication with your team. But T-95 wasn't there yet, and this Pantera was ready to go, so I give him a little bit of a push. Pantera's got a much higher governor than it does horsepower to get to that governed speed, so I help him along. And then I decide to be a little bit aggressive. Again, that is one of those traits of good games. You usually have had to take some sort of a risk. I also took a risk there in firing, but suspected that since I didn't get lit coming across the field, there probably was nobody looking at me, so I could take a shot. And now I want to move up here and try and light some targets so that maybe the T-95 or the cluster of teammates that are coming along with me will have something to do. And now I sit here and I wait. And much to my surprise, I light this Stritzvan, but he does not light me. And so I decide again to be a little brave here and take a shot. Unfortunately, it does nothing. I miss, and I don't even try and take another shot, because now that I know he's there, I realize it's dangerous for me to shoot. But in my spotting, boom, just like that, luck, I get nearly 1,200 spotting. And now I continue to wait, but now I decide to go ahead and take another shot, figuring that it's unlikely anybody's going to be able to see me. And no one did. I didn't get lit. So now, time to regroup yet again. But notice what has happened in this time. I was doing the play-by-play of what was going on around me, but we lost the hill. Now, in one way, you could look at this and say, yep, we lost this. This is over. But what actually I would argue is happening here is the other team is making a fatal mistake. They are overextending, and that happens more often than not on this map. Sadly, I feel like it happens more often than not to my team. I usually seem to get the south start with this map. I start on the south, we push up just like our team did, and we win up there. And sometimes winning the hill can be your worst enemy in this map because you end up overextending and pushing beyond where you can have your TDs covering you, and you drive right into the enemy TDs. And that's kind of what's happened here. The enemy team fragmented. We now went from being, I think, one tank down when I started the dialogue of the hill, to now we are one tank up. Nope, sorry, we're even. We're even 8-8. We lost one while I was saying that. But we have decent control of the map right now. I don't like that our TDs are out in the open field, but honestly, there's not really anything on the other team to be able to sneak around them. All indications are the enemy is right in front of them, and as we light more and more enemies right now, it's obvious that yes, the enemy team is in the forest. Basically, they're at our spawn point. I get a little ballsy here, jump up over the hill to take a shot at that E5. I do it successfully. If I had been just a fraction of a second slower, I think I would have taken a hit. And now we will come up with a new plan. And I briefly think about doing some sort of flanking or spotting here, or something like that, but decide that nope, this is not a French autoloader. That's not what we do. The better I have played this tank, the more I resist those types of urges. And now, we're going to try and get up on top of the hill. I think I can get some good vision. We have some guns back here to shoot. I want to do what I can to keep anything from flanking around the other side of our TDs. So we climb up the hill. We unfortunately took a shot there, trying to get up here. Probably could have done a better job of avoiding that. And now I'm just trying to decide on what piece of land can I get over here and get some shots in. That was a terrible shot right there by me. RNG didn't help, but I didn't place that in a good spot. Again, some luck there. We got 235 tracking at the instant that I fired. Now this is probably going to be, as you're watching this, one of the more frustrating parts to watch. It was frustrating for me. Things are feeling good here. Bounce the first one, second one went in. I think I'm going to be able to just keep sinking these shots. But no. Apparently I rolled really lucky on that one and penetrated, where now I just can't seem to get anything to go through the side of this German heavy. So I dab the 2 key, load in some skill. Fortunately, he disappears. I ignore his disappearing and just started firing at the 257. I think I actually hit the German heavy once there. And now we just kind of keep doing some snipey. You could argue, another part of the frustration here is that maybe me as a light tank, I shouldn't be back here sniping and I should be advancing. The reason I didn't initially was I had a good vantage to shoot, for one. The DPM's not bad on this tank, for two. And third, I didn't want to overextend beyond where I had coverage from my team. I didn't want to go over there and run into something like a tortoise and then have to deal with it. That was a really bad shot. Shooting the sides of these things is so troll. But we get one through. And I wish I could have gotten one more, but I don't. Yeah, it bounces. It must have caught the weird V of the hull, even though I was shooting at the rear. He continues around the corner and gets nuked. So, there's one tank left. At this point, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a win. I did not necessarily think at this point that it was going to be an ace tanker, but it was going through my mind how textbook this was in terms of a good lesson in why the enemy team learned the lesson of don't overextend. And, oh yeah, I get the final kill. That was pretty sweet. And then also just our team adapting to the situation, communicating with one another. Those are all good things. So, post-battle stats. Ace Tanker, got Confederate, the Spotter badge. It was a good game. It wasn't like an epic super unicum game. I only got a couple of kills, did 2,800 damage in a light tank. Had a decent amount of spotting, a little over, 5,000 if you include the assistants. It was a good game, and I think it didn't necessarily showcase the strengths of the T-54 lightweight. It was all things that it was pretty good at, needed some speed, all those classic light tank things, but I don't know if there was anything there that really was where the lightweight was the clear choice of tank. But hope you enjoy this. Maybe you learned something. If you're like me, you just need a reminder from time to time of don't be stupid. And with that, I leave you today. Have a great day. Have a happy new year. School bus out.